Season 7 of The Spotlight starts right now. This week on The Spotlight, it's Juneteenth, and the co-hosts are celebrating it in big style. Author Angel L. Martinez is here to share his latest book that dives deep in how a young boy goes through true life events that affected him in plain sight. And Ace Burns is throwing a Juneteenth performance on The Spotlight that'll have you grooving. Now, let's get it on and get this Spotlight party started.
Hello and welcome to The Spotlight and happy Juneteenth, y'all. We are celebrating Juneteenth this week here, and it is a federal holiday to commemorate and celebrate the end of slavery in America. It is a celebration that started back in 1866, 158 years ago, but it wasn't until 2021 when President Joe Biden made it an official federal holiday. Now, black people have known about Juneteenth, but the question is, how should other folks celebrate Juneteenth, and how should other people observe this holiday, and what does celebrating Juneteenth mean for perhaps everyone, you know? Well, but for me, you know, celebrating Juneteenth is a good thing where we celebrate, like, you know, the power of being free and independent for every one of us. And not many folks get a chance to do that here, basically. And I feel like, you know, we go through a lot here. And one of my things of the Juneteenth is that I always refer back to like the Chappelle Show episode back in the day where they did the reparations here for slavery, and the way they done it was so hilarious and funny here. It was like, I feel like I would want to watch it every year just, you know, just to relax myself and have a good laugh. But, you know, it's a way to, like, you know, feel free that we don't have to deal with, you know, being enslaved or anything else here, basically. It's all about the power of being free. That's all there is about, you know, with Juneteenth, you know, and, you know, it's a good thing, you know, basically. So, but, you know, we're always interested in hearing about what celebrating Juneteenth means for you as well here. So feel free to comment about what Juneteenth means to you here. And, you know, when we'll be happy to, like, you know, share it and so forth, you know, basically, because Juneteenth is a holiday that should be celebrated every year. And I'm glad that it's now a federal holiday that we can get off from school or work and just celebrate the importance of, like, you know, independent freedom, basically, you know, basically. Because here's an interesting fact. The historic legacy of Juneteenth shows the value of never giving up hope in uncertain times. Where the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C., is a community space where the spirit of hope lives on. It is a place where historical events like Juneteenth are shared and new stories with equal urgency are told here, basically. And it is celebrated throughout the African American community, and the monumental event remains largely known to most Americans, you know. And that's the thing about with Juneteenth, you know, it's like, here's an interesting fact here. Freedom finally began on June 19th, 1865, when some 2,000 Union troops arrived in Galveston Bay, Texas. Then the Army announced that more than 250,000 enslaved black people in the state were free by executive decree. This day came to be known as Juneteenth by the newly freed people in Texas here. So this is basically a little history about how Juneteenth started and everything else by that here. But, you know, but hey, and also keep in mind, even though the Emancipation Proclamation was made effective in 1863, it could not be implemented in places still under Confederate control. as a result, in the westernmost Confederate state of Texas, enslaved people would not be free until much later, until the time that I mentioned where freedom finally came on June 19th, 1865, basically. So that's a little history about, Juneteenth here, basically. There's a lot to happen here, so there you have it here. But before we go to break, we want to take a moment and remember someone who was really close to us on their show. We want to remember Yael Reed, who is also known as Omni Ready, who suddenly passed away in May. And she was just a dear friend to our show who loved healing young individuals like ourselves who feel mentally well and positively energized. And that's what she was all about here, basically. She will dearly be missed, and we leave you a clip of her appearance from several years ago as we go to break. So enjoy this Spotlight flashback clip, and we will be right back.
Keep it for 7.
So I hope I'm doing this correctly.
Release 8. Exhale everything. Take 4 in. Keep it for 7. Release 8. Last one, 4 in.
Last one, and I have to do the hustle after this here.
Keep it for 7. Release 8. How do you feel?
I feel like I'm a new man. I feel like I'm the new Barbara Walters or Whoopi Goldberg already.
How do you feel, Sansalia? Do you feel calmer? Because usually when we start a show, when you have to record, you start to be excited, you have a lot of things to do, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be good. How do you feel?
You have really helped me a lot because now I feel relaxed, calm, cool, collected, and normal.
Thank you. That's it.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown.
Mariella!
Never leave the house looking, well, and never let them out of our sight. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Have you ever asked for help yourself?
It's always tough, right? I always feel like I can solve my own problems, but eventually, you just can't deal with it on your own. Once you take that first step, there's so much support.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Still ahead, author Angel L. Martinez is here to share his latest book that dives deep in how a young boy goes through true life events that affected him in plain sight. And Ace Burns is throwing a Juneteenth performance on the Spotlight that'll have you grooving.
Welcome back. Apparently, Gen Z and millennials have a different Spotlight view of the American dream than past generations. Data showed that soaring inflation, student debt, and limited room for the advancement in the workplace has made them feel like milestones like affording a house or a home, a chair, starting a family, and so much more are out of reach, basically. But does every generation feel some way at this point? Because, you know, I tend to feel this way at times, because it's like it's hard to deal with adulting at this age and time. You know, even in my 20s and approaching 30s here or so forth. But you know, because it's like because when you get a certain age, you can't function very well with certain things, or certain things get difficult to do at times, like losing weight, or like, you know, staying energized and doing what you want to do, and so much more. It's like there's so much, basically, you know, you can't do here anymore, because it's like our bodies are changing as we grow older, and it's like certain things just that we used to and love doing, we may not enjoy doing, or we may still enjoy doing. It depends, but it depends on who the person is. Everyone can be different at times, you know, here. But let me give you an important fact here. A recent survey revealed that half of Gen Z and millennials burn out by the time they reach adulthood here. Like, to put into perspective, half of Gen Z is now 18 years or older. The oldest member of Gen Z is either now 26 years old, and the oldest millennials are 42 years old here. And 50% of Gen Zers and millennials say that they do not feel like they have adulting figured out. I could see why that is, because I'm still trying to figure out what adulting is, even though I'm still young here. But, you know, it's going to take some time, you know, basically. You know, but in the survey, 63% of Gen Zers and millennials said that they did not feel they were prepared for the responsibility of being an adult, and admitted that they feel burned out by adulthood. Yeah, I hate to admit this, but I get burned out so easily as when I'm in adulthood. But I know I could change that around within my own health, both personally and mentally here. And that's that, you know, I want to mention that. It's going to change, okay? Now, one thing I also got to mention, 55% of young adult responders find it much harder to purchase a home, which obviously that's understandable, because the economy is crazy. Inflation's going up here. Inflation's all over the place. I have to get animated over for this, because, you know, this is the type of world we're living in. It's like everything's just going up, getting expensive. It's like we can't afford to buy certain things like we can't afford. A house is one of them, even a car. Even at times, like friends of mine have whoever drives, they have to deal with the struggle of paying for a car, or for car insurance, or whatever happens if the car breaks down, or whatever happens, you know. This is a lot, you know, basically, you know. And 44% say that it's harder to find a job, and 55% it's harder to get promoted. Well, I could see how that is, because, you know, it's like when we work, we do the best we can to work the jobs that we have. And we try our best to ask for a promotion and get time off, but then we have this fear of what our boss or manager could say next, or because, you know, some bosses are different within their personalities. They can be nice, they can be mean, they can have multiple personalities. You never know, basically, and, you know, but that is life, basically, But however, on the plus side, the poll found that 40% of Gen Zers and millennials say it's easier for them to find economic opportunities outside of traditional employment. Now, this is when they do like whatever side hustle gigs that they do on their own, or even do like deliveries through DoorDash or Uber. The rest, well, the rest other gigs, well, it depends on whatever it is that they do, basically. But I'm not going to get too in depth on that here because, listen, it's on them and they do what they want to do and they just live their life here, basically, and that's all. So, adulting is really just something that makes you want to write a book about here. I should do the same as well. And we'll be right back, y'all.
Life's daily battles are not meant to be fought alone.
We're not powerless, so long as we don't lose sight of what's important.
Don't be afraid to seize that moment to talk to your friends.
Cloud, you okay?
Because checking in on a friend can create a safe space.
The first step on our new journey. You coming?
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Seize the awkward. It's totally worth it.
I debate all day. It's what I do. But there are some things that are undebatable, like your mental health, my own mental health. I was in a dark place when my brother passed away in a car accident. I've never been more devastated than the day I lost my mom. I was depressed, miserable, in ways I never imagined. I reached out, and my sisters came. My pastor, my therapist. They helped me get through it. I found that the more I spoke up, the healthier my mind became. The chaos that was in me began to subside. I was more focused, clear. When you love your mind, you can go so much further. That's not up for debate. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Hey, in his latest book, In Plain Sight, it goes explicitly into the daily occurrences of which a young boy goes through in life. In Plain Sight derives from true events. It is a heart-wrenching story about a young boy who faces the horrors he encounters in his own home. And here to tell us more about this book is the author of Plain Sight, who is also the author of The Face in the Mirror. So please welcome back to the spotlight, Angel L. Martinez. Hello, Angel.
Hey, David, how are you? Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on. We're glad you're with us.
Here as well. I couldn't wait to get back up on here and speak to you and your viewers as well.
Yes. Why don't we get started and just tell us, the viewers, about the book here, because you wrote it last year on my birthday, January 31st, 2023, and I'm surprised that the book was written or published on my birthday here, but it's like you talk about a lot that goes through the boy's life here, and so why don't you just tell us, like, how did this all come about in writing this book here, and what was going through your mind, basically?
Well, I'm glad it came out on your birthday. So it's sort of like a gift to you and to everyone else who might have the chance to read it. So, it's full of information at the end of where people can get resources that might be needed. The book in itself came to me just a story of my life, right? And the book is written in real sense. The ending is made up simply because I just wanted to put an end to something that was consuming me, right? So the story is about a young boy, maybe about 12 years old or so at the time, and the struggles that he went through in his own home. The mental, physical abuse that he went through, which he just ultimately just one day decided he wasn't gonna deal with it anymore. He has to get out of there. But what happened with that was that he ended up going into just a horrible situation, as which the one he just came from, and he encountered depression, homelessness, hunger, drug addiction, and ultimately took his own life. Right. So the story is designed to bring light to the things that can happen in our own homes, where people just basically might turn a blind eye, uh, either not care, uh, it's not happening, it's not true, it can't be, and just basically don't care, right? So the horrors that this young boy went through could have been avoided if people just simply paid attention. So the idea behind this book, if anything else, what I want to get out of it is for people to pay attention to not just in our own homes, but teachers and things of that nature as well, the children in the school, the symptoms that they may be exhibiting, like maybe falling asleep in class, non-attentive, malnourished, and unresponsive to playing with other children and things of that nature, right? Detachment and things like that. Um, so it's a heart-wrenching story that it really hurt me when I was writing it because I was reliving it. But the story had to be told. It had to be told to bring awareness. At the end of the book, in the back of the book, there's listings of resources and phone numbers where people, when they read these books or hear about this book or encountering a problem, can reach out to try to get the help that they might so desperately need. And that's the sole intention behind this, is getting the help to these children who otherwise might not have them, and to get people informed on what to look for so they can help these children before it's too late.
Yes, indeed. And so it's basically like we're also trying to get the message out there of like, when people go through mental health funks and it basically, it's like there's a reason why people should be reading this book because you never know what they've been through in life. Like for myself, I've been through a rough childhood of my own here where I've dealt with, like I say, well, I'm just going to get exclusively here where, or I'll just say folks within my family that were like really abusive, less physically, but more verbally, basically. So it's very important, for people to understand about the book that because can relate to anyone who's
It
been
can, in so many different ways.
exactly. Yes.
I believe that a lot of people that read this will be able to identify in one way or another, and that's the beauty in it. But I'm not stopping there, David. What's happening is I'm working together with a bunch of wonderful people, wonderful actors, sound guys, mic guys, camera guys, and what we're looking to do is bring this to the screen. We're looking to bring this to the screen, and we're in talks right now. We're in final talks of casting and equipment and things of that nature, and we're going to start putting together some short trailers and combine them and present these with the script, and hopefully we can find someone that would be willing to back us and get this into motion. So that's what we're working on that now.
Well, that is so cool and interesting. Angel, if you would like, you can cast me as one of the stars. I'd be interested in doing this.
I have here's the other wonderful thing that I'm doing with this. I'm willing to incorporate anybody that I know, people of good nature and loving hearts and decent people like yourself. I'm sure there's a spot for you somewhere that I may be able to use you or have you. I hate the word use,
Yeah.
have you.
Yes, there is. And but because I was just about to mention because you did write a script based on the book here, and it's like I'm just curious of how that came about, and you know, and it's like just tell us why did you choose to write the script based on the book here and all that.
Because I believe that the book, although can tell the story, I thought to myself that visually, having it visually, a visual for people to actually see, maybe they can feel it. Because if you feel something, you're more apt to do something about it. So that was the main idea behind that. And I wrote it in 3 or 4 different variations. I've lost track right now of how many different ways I've written it. I wrote it going with the book from beginning to end, from what he suffered and where the middle and when he left and where he ultimately his demise and how that all occurred. And then I wrote it also as an investigative form. From where the book ended is where the script picked up. So, they find this young child, and no one knows who he is or where he came from. So it goes into finding out who he is, where did he come from, who was he, and who was responsible. So, and I also wrote it in a narrative form because I didn't want to get rid of a lot of the script that's in there that could become a director's nightmare. Because I wanted people to have the feeling if it was cold out and he was cold and he was freezing and he was hungry, I want people to feel that. I want the people to, because I felt it. I want them to feel what I felt. And maybe if they see something like that, they'll be more apt to help. So, it means a lot to me. And whether it gets wherever it needs to get, if the book alone, if they can just pick up the book and you can, just by reading it, you can feel it, but visually will have such an impact.
Definitely an impact on anyone in particular, for sure, because it's
If you
like,
haven't read it already, I'm sure you have, or part of it, or most of it, or we won't be having this conversation if you haven't. I guarantee you, if it doesn't bring feeling and tears and anger and because we need to be all those things to be able to do something about it. We need to be all those things because it is unacceptable for these types of things to happen. And the stop has to come to it. And I want to be part of that.
we all do, and we all want to be a part of something that can be life-changing for sure.
Yes.
And
to those that matter, the most innocent ones.
that's right, basically. So why don't you tell us, Angel, what else you have coming up in the works besides that here? So
I'm in the middle of, and I like to say the middle, I keep saying that to myself because it gives me more energy to keep going, of a book called The Power of Me and How to Harness It. And the premise behind this book is also, if I may, it's harping off of this one, which you know very well because you've seen it before, it's harping off the face in the mirror. The only difference is tools and the gems inside of us and the things that we all have that we just don't know are there. We don't know our passions and things of that nature, right? So exploring our passions and finding something that we love to do. Have you ever done, David, something that you lost track of time doing? Something you enjoy so much that the time just went by and you're like, wow, it was 9 a.m., it's 4 now. I mean, time just flew. I enjoyed it. That could be your passion. Was it art, David? Was it just reading? Was it music? Was it listening to music? Was it singing along? Have you ever waited for someone to leave so you could be totally alone and in yourself in your own zone? And you ever see the happiness that comes behind it? I'm not
it was
saying we need to be
music
alone, but I'm
and
saying it's
spending
this
time with a
time where
friend. Yeah,
we just do to be with our inner selves so we can actually explore and find out who we truly are.
absolutely. And it was music and it was spending time with a close friend of mine that really just let the time just flow by here, basically here. And,
In being you, in being yourselves, right?
and
And
that
learning about you and yourself, right? So that's what the power of me is. Getting to know ourselves better. You will never fully understand who we truly are, right? But we can have a better understanding. And that's the premise behind that book.
That's exactly what the premise is all about, basically, Angel. So listen, the time just goes so quick on here as well. Here,
Yeah, yeah.
we like
But we're enjoying it though.
we
We're
are
enjoying it.
enjoying it, yes,
Right.
and we
So
like
that's
for you
the
to stick.
truth to it.
Yes, and we'd like for you to stick around. And if you like, would you like to read an excerpts from the book
I
here?
can. I can.
Sure. Well, hold that thought. We will definitely do that in just a moment here. So Angel Martinez is going to stick around with us here because he's going to read few excerpts from his book in plain sight. So stick around. We'll be right back, y'all.
Thank you, David.
Before he was a major league pitcher, threw a no-hitter, and then a perfect game. Before he made history, Mark Burley was just a kid, cut from his high school team twice. Before Bear taught himself to predict seizures and inspired thousands by saving his owner's life. Before he became a hero, he was just another dog in a Texas animal shelter. There's hidden potential in all of us. We just need someone to see it. Find it at adoptapet.com.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner!
Go?
Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there. We're the family.
Yeah!
I thought you were on my team. Wait,
We are back, and Angel L. Martinez has decidedly agreed to stick around and read some excerpts from his latest book, In Plain Sight. So without further ado, take a look and listen. Go ahead, Angel.
Hey, David, how are you? The reading I'm about to give to you is going to be, like David said, from my book, In Plain Sight. And it's from the chapter titled, The Long Walk Home. And we'll just kick it off. He kicked the bundles of leaves, scattering them all over, hearing the crunch from the ones he stepped on. The trees were tall. It seemed like an eternity for a fallen leaf to make it to the sidewalk. The homes that lined the streets were beautiful. He always wondered how nice it would be to live in one of those homes. It seemed so peaceful. He watched as the cars pulled up to the homes, the kids swinging open the car doors and hightailing it to the porch. There was a bench on the porch and soft lighting of one of the homes. The homes radiated love and comfort. He wondered what that must be like as he heard their laughter echoing across to him. He put his head down and kept walking. He was no longer smiling. As beautiful as those homes were, as good as they made him feel inside, he couldn't help but feel resentment. Why was he so sad and angry? Why couldn't he live there with that family? Were they getting snacks, juice, or milk when they came home from school? Maybe some hot chocolate on a chilly day like today. Every block he walked, he slowed just a little. Not because he was tired, but because he wanted to stop time for a while. He believed that the slower he walked, the slower time would pass. It worked. At least for him it did. Buses were starting to pass the blocks he was walking. He could make out familiar faces through the windows. He was always curious to see if any of the buses would stop in front of those homes. With both hands in his pockets, he walked hunched over, kicking stones, feeling the anger building up inside. He didn't know at that time why he was angry. He imagined he was angry at those other children, their moms and dads. He was angry at their beautiful homes and the hot chocolate. He was angry at their laughter. He was angry because they seemed happy. He picked up one of those stones he was kicking, and he flung it across the street into one of the porch windows. He heard the glass break, the crashing, smashing sound. His heart started racing as he grabbed the straps to his book bag and took off running. He made it to the corner and looked back at the house to see if anyone came out. They didn't. He hoped they weren't home. He did not want anyone hurt. He was just angry, not at them, but at what they had, what he wished for. And that one there, that particular reading, I was going to go on, but it gets a little bit too explicit in behaviors that not becoming anyone, but his actions were resentment, anger, looking at these families and believing that they had what he wished for was just a loving, kind home. When children came home and they were supported and loved and missed. So a lot of the book is in his behaviors was because he was angry at what he was going through. And he didn't know how to escape that. So he acted out. It's a tough story, David.
It is. And I applaud you for that excerpt.
You can feel it a little bit in there as I'm reading. I tried to put emotion to it, you know. It's not very difficult because when I read it, I just feel it every single time.
Yes, every one of us can feel it for sure. And, you know, we're just glad that you shared it with us here. And, you know, we thank you for that here. You know, you are welcome to the Spotlight anytime. Keep us updated with anything that you have in the works here, especially that film. I'd like to be a part of that film as an actor. Hopefully.
We can work it out. We can work it out, David.
Definitely work
We
it
have
out.
other stuff coming up too. I mean, me and my father, I'm working with him together, and we have a whole list of songs that we have composed and written and just waiting to put music to. We also have a couple, 5 or so on Spotify that are fully masterized, and we're waiting to see how we get our fan base to grow. So we're doing a lot of things.
That is awesome. We can't wait to see that here, Angel. Angel, thank you so much for joining us here and for everything and for sharing the excerpt here. Our special thanks to Angel L. Martinez, the author of In Plain Sight. It is a book that you should definitely read that is out now. And folks, we'll be right back, y'all.
When you're going through something, you just want someone to listen sometimes, and having a person or a family member or even a journal.
Journaling, even if it's like in my phone, just writing how I feel, clear my head, write my thoughts down, it gets it out, to kind of articulate it before I even really know what is.
You're saying.
Yeah,
exactly.
what I'm saying. I have to like process it.
I think like a lot of people are like, I'm just gonna talk to my journal and not talk to anybody because they don't want to hear me. When it's like, people do care. People really care to like know how you are. I think sometimes people think they're not important or what they're going through is not enough. I think communication between people it's important. Yeah. Even if it's awkward.
For more resources on how to check in on a friend, go to seizetheawkward.org.
When I arrived in the U.S. at 19, I struggled to find job opportunities without a high school diploma. Everything I have, my education, my career, my marriage, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and my teachers.
Your achievement has set an example for so many students. Most importantly, your daughter.
Education was the key that unlocked all my opportunities.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you.
Hey, since 2012, he's been helping indie artists and labels develop methods of release and viral campaign strategies. As a musical artist, he has done many music videos to the point where he has released a new album called Raying the Master's Tomb. And that's Raying with like in Ray or something, but you know. Anyway, but what better way to welcome him to the spotlight? and perform for us. So performing for us for this Juneteenth, please welcome the cool and talented Ace Burns.
This is a song off my debut album. For all little black kids, sure, all the kids who have to deal with the police. It's called Everyone's a Criminal. I hope you like it. Hey. Oh. Ah. Everyone's a criminal. I'm just catching criminal. Everyone's a criminal. Better not say when you see now. What's in that boot, boy? What's in that boot, boy? What's in that boot, boy? Better not say when you see now. What's in that boot, boy? That's what they telling me. I'm trying to run away from a felony. Stop the progress and found my toys. Why you calling me a rude boy? Tell me put my hands up. Make me turn around now. Make me scuff my timber. Drop to the ground now. Handcuffed behind my back. You wanna be the man. I'm 16, 6 foot, box in the stands. Everyone's a criminal. I'm just catching criminal. Except I'm a criminal. Better not say when you see now. What's in that boot, boy? What's in that boot, boy? What's in that boot, boy? Better not say when you see now. This is a freestyle for the people here, trying to make my mind so clear. David put me on the spot, gotta say a word. I think like Eric Adams is a crook. Don't know what he took. Black people need to stand. We can join all our hands. Hit a new vibe now. This Afrobeats a vibe. I'm 17, 16, not in my lines. Everyone's a criminal. I'm just catching criminal. Except I'm a criminal. Better not say when you see now. What's in that boot, boy? What's in that boot, boy? What's in that boot, boy? Better not say when you see now. All right, so this next one I'm gonna play for you guys. I was gonna get a little raunchy. I told everybody today is my naughty day because tomorrow's Mother's Day, and all of you guys became mothers in one way. We ain't gonna front about it. But I'm gonna play something a little sweeter. This is for my daughter. My daughter is 6 years old. She'll be 7 in October, and her name was Nefertiti. And you know, I'm on the road. I just came back from Nigeria. And I always got to play this song just to remind me why I'm doing this, why I'm going so hard. This one is called Little Nefertiti. I hope you like it.
Stop, Paul, for a moment. Okay. So it's nice to mention Mother's Day, but I just want to mention that this episode will air on Juneteenth here. So
oh, word.
So I just want to let you know, because in case people are wondering why Mother's Day is mentioned, it will already been passed. So
That's a good point.
Keep that in mind.
Juneteenth.
Because what I'm trying to do is make it easy for me when I do the editing.
Okay.
So, I'm trying to think.
You want me to play something different?
Say something like different.
I'll play something different too. No, I'll cut it back. No, if it's gonna air Juneteenth, then I'm gonna say something about Juneteenth.
That's a very powerful day for me too. Yeah. Perfect. All right, so places, action. Thank you guys so much. So yeah, so the next song I'm gonna play is actually about a black group that I helped found in 2018 called Wakwenda, now known as Kwenda. I actually started the first decentralized international record label with funding from Kwenda. And the song is about unity, right? And Juneteenth, to me, we fought so hard. Really, it wasn't about fighting hard. I think it was really about joining together and finding the truth in our power, which is togetherness. So this song is called Wakwenda, the original name, and I hope you like it. Sorry, hold on. All right, there we go. I was like, oh, do I have the tune? Okay, no, I'm good. All right, here we go. No love and it really does show. Promo and I do my own shows. Write my own rhymes, got my own flows. Own my own masters, shoot my own videos. We just can't get along like in phone me. Can grow in a farm like Lamar made. Get it wrong, yeah, we still paid. We still paid. Just can't get along like in phone made. Can't get it wrong, yeah, we still paid. Can still get it right, yeah, we still paid. 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 We just can't get along like in phone made. Can grow in a farm like Lamar made. Yeah, we ain't get it wrong, yeah, we still paid. I'm just tryna scrape by like a squeegee. Just tryna fly high like the weed bee. Just trying not to die, but I'm sleepy. I'm just trying not to die, but I'm sleepy. We still pay. We still pay. We still pay. We just can't get along like in phone me. We can grow in a farm like Lamar made. We ain't really get it wrong, yeah, we still pay. Still pay, still pay, still pay, still pay. Just can't get along like in phone me. Can grow in a farm like Lamar made. We ain't really get it wrong, yeah, we still pay. Still pay.
Give it up for Ace, y'all. Listen, you were gonna say something that I thought I was gonna hear because I think I was listening backstage. Tell us what you were gonna say.
No, I was just being thankful. I think we should all practice some gratitude every day.
Yeah.
Just any way we can. And I was saying I'm thankful that the higher power put me in contact with those people that were Wakwenda and Kwenda now, you know, so we can connect and grow together.
Mm-hmm. That's all it's about, even for this Juneteenth here, you know, because it's like, you know, there's so much here, because, you know, it seems like you've been all over the place here, like 12 years of helping indie artists, 2012 we're talking back then, and now, and yet you even wrote, I have to ask, because I even saw this was interesting here, but you wrote a book here.
I did. That's interesting.
Tell us, because you've dived deeper and with more insight about how folks should understand about ourselves and what we should do, like ourselves mentally here. Why don't you tell us more about that?
Yeah, and Dave, first of all, I want to give much appreciation, you guys, to this man for inviting me out. And I appreciate the connections because he didn't have to. There's a lot of artists out here, so giving me this platform, like, thank you so much. And I think the book and everything related to that part of my life is kind of like a part of who I am in piecemeal, right? We have so many layers. We have the religious part of us. We have the philosophical part of us. We have the ethnic part of us. We have the cultural part of us. And philosophy-wise, Buddhism is where I'm at. And, the book was designed, when I was writing it, really to help young versions of myself, right? We should all just try and reach out to the smaller versions of ourselves as much as possible and, like, give them a little bit of an easier path. So I fell into Buddhism, some chaotic mess, like it's just a whirlwind of mess, gambling addiction and, struggling, So when I came into Buddhism, it helped me find what we call in Buddhism the right path, right? And there's just so many sutras out there, so many complex sutras, the Heart Sutra, the Platinum Sutra. There's so many different ideas, the Heart Sutra, of how you walk the right path, like what you do to become a righteous person. And I was like, there's nothing for kids in the hood. Like, I grew up in East Flatbush. I was born in Kings County. I was in and out of the pink houses in East New York. So my path, the right path for me is extremely confusing. Like, how do you do the right thing when you're walking through blood neighborhood? You're going through a blood neighborhood to get to a Crip neighborhood where your high school is, and it's like, these are your influences. These are the guys who you look up to, the OGs. Now, how do you find the right path in that? So the book was designed to kind of give people some local understanding of Buddhism. You know? And I don't know if I accomplished that, but I just felt like that was
But it's still a journey, basically, yes. And those two songs that you just performed for us, like, there has to be some sort of meaning or like a significance. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh, absolutely. So, the first song I played was Everyone's a Criminal.
Yes.
And I think it's really important that, people understand it's not about everyone actually being a criminal. We're not looking down and saying everybody's a crook. I think it's more for us to think introspectively about what it's like to be a policeman, right? And about how we want our officers of the state to treat us. Because as a black man, I have to see the cops from a perspective of they're looking at everyone like a criminal. That's how I see things. That story that I'm telling in that song is about 16-year-old me trying to make it to high school when, the cops are doing stop and frisk to try and get their numbers up at the end of the month, right? And they're putting me on the ground and they're patting me down and they're touching me places and they're trying to emasculate me, but I'm only 16 and my nature is to be strong. I'm 16, I'm 6 foot, and I box in a stance, right? So I'm trying to give people an understanding of what it's like to be a young person in New York at the time and deal with them and how to change that visual. Maybe everyone shouldn't be a criminal to police. Maybe we should lean on this guilty until proven innocent thing, or innocent until proven guilty thing.
Yes.
The second song is about Wakanda, and I have a lot of love and admiration for that group. It's a group of 50,000 brothers and sisters who came together to create a cryptocurrency. This happened in 2018. And that group, I was in the middle of the creation, and we created our own currency called the CJs. And a lot of things happen, some complex things. Anytime you gather a lot of people, a lot of personalities. But I was one of those foundational members, and I got $1 million of the currency, which I used to create a record label called Coinda Records.
I wish I had $1 million back in 2018. This economy is just something else. But you know what else? It's not enough time with you. We need more time with you. But listen, come back anytime. Sure. You're welcome here. We enjoyed this. Listen, our special thanks to Ace Burns, y'all.
Appreciate
Check
y'all.
out his album, aceburns.com. Everything is there, music and everything, you name it. We'll be right back, y'all.
Take care, guys.
Is it time yet?
It's time.
Let's start time for dinner.
Oh, terrific.
Faster dinner.
Donating pet food is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way. No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/team up.
Losing the fear of looking foolish comes with age.
Who did you steal him from?
Losing your way in your own home doesn't. Confusion with time and place may be a sign of Alzheimer's.
Mom, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's.
Hey, we have a quick minute. We have a minute where I'd like to quickly congratulate the class of 2024 and their accomplishments that they've made. Every one of you made it and accomplished what you have achieved, and we hope you continue to strive forward and never relinquish your dreams here. I also want to congratulate our own Crystal Askew, who has finally obtained her master's degree at John Jay College here in New York City. We are all so proud of you, and we hope to see you back here at the Spotlight soon. And you know, we're just so proud of you, Crystal, and everyone else that has made it this far in their studies and within their own education here. So on that note, we hope you have a great Juneteenth holiday as well as a great week. Good luck, be well, be safe, and we'll see you on the Spotlight, y'all. Adjourned.
Happy Reparations Day. Happy Juneteenth.